So for this video, I'm going to talk about lifecycle policies for storage accounts. And normally in a storage account, you can change the access tier of whatever file you have. You can say change access level. No, not access level. Change tier, access tier from hot to cool to archive, but that's annoying. If you have like an application that has a lot of, let's say you have a lot of blobs in your container or something, doing it one by one is a lot to do. So let's say you have like an update on your application or something, you want to change the access tiers of a lot of files, then that's why you would create a lifecycle policy. So lifecycle policies are just, well, they're also, you could call it lifecycle management rules, and they're a way to act, on all the objects instead of just one. And you set that policy, or you set that rule in place that when a condition's met, it will either change the access tier of the objects, or it could even delete an object. So let me actually make a second blob in this storage account, so then it's easier to see. Okay, so I have multiple ones, right? So you go to your storage account and you look for the lifecycle management blade, click it, and we don't have any rules, so let's create a new one, call it whatever you want, rule 1. And so the scope is you can apply it to all blobs in your storage account, or you can limit it with filters, and that adds that extra step. So I'm just gonna apply a rule to all. Actually, it's just limit blob with filters, and you can choose the blob types and subtypes. I'm just gonna keep block blobs and base blobs. So now we put in the condition, and the simplest one is gonna be on your base blob. So here it says if the base blob was last modified more than like 30 days ago, which means it hasn't been used in more than 30 days, then delete the blob, or you can move it to cool or archive or whatever condition you want to happen. So this is the simplest condition you could create, and you could add more. Like if you wanted 30 days, you have it to move to archive, and then after 60 days, then you can move it to delete. So you could do stuff like that. Well, let's just say delete. So what it's doing is Azure's just automatically going to have these rules in place, however many you create, how many conditions, whatever, for the rule, and it's just gonna observe the blob, and then after 30 days pass, that'll know, okay, I'm going to delete, or I'm going to move it to cool, all without you having to do anything. You just set it in the beginning, and that's it. So you go to next, and this is for filtering it. So you could say, okay, maybe it's in by name, to find a specific container, enter name of container followed by /. So like for example, show all blobs starting with A, type, let's say we want it to be in the data container. So if you want ones that start with, I think, R for random, then they'll get all the ones starting like that. So enter the name of the container followed by /, then the blob name or first letter. So this is going to look in our data container and apply it to all blobs that start with R. And you can add more prefixes if you want. And if you have index items in containers or keys and values, you could filter them by that. So we're going to add it. And so here it is. You can click it. If anytime you want to disable the rule, you can, and you could just enable it back again, so you don't have to delete and recreate. But if you want to delete it fully, then you have that option. But if you want to keep it for later, maybe, and you just want to disable it temporarily, then do disable. But anyway, that's it. So imagine you have multiple containers, you have multiple blobs, and then that's how to create a rule for its life cycle, for how long you want to live, or to stay in a particular tier. That's what you would do, how to manage all of them. So that's life cycle management for storage accounts.